we are doing a few things. So let me just write today's date. September 3rd, 2024. So we are going to start with Deuteronomy. Let me get my little colorful pencils, because I have different types of pencils. And per usual, we are studying this one, the American thing that was picked by Father Eubel. That's the one that I have from the cathedral. I better not be writing on myself. So we are one day behind, but that's because y'all see I do a lot, okay? I'm a very busy woman. So DT chapter 4 verses 1 through 2, 6 through 8. Okay, that's going to be short, so that's the one we're starting with. And that is, DT is the Deuteronomy, so let me write that down. D-E-U-T-O, I'm sorry, D-E-U-T-E-R-O, N-O, Deuteronomy, me, M-Y. Whew, child, I'm fighting for my life here. Okay. So what the heck is in this Bible? Let me actually mark in my little list of what I need to do. Let me go ahead and cross that out, because I'm doing that. And so, oh, by the way, this is how you make use of your church bulletin. Okay? So, I don't know where the kids put theirs, but Deuteronomy. So this is dogmatic. Okay. My nose is itching. Origin, September. Excuse me. Deuteronomy is, here it's on page 1. It's in the Old Testament. So this is how I do my Bible study. I just break everything down. So Deuteronomy is in the Old Testament. So I'm going to write that down in my notes. Old Testament. Okay. And that starts on page 186. So where is it at? Here we go. 186. I should put stickers, like sticky tabs, on my little, where I go to look up what page stuff is on. Because that is a new skill that was unlocked recently. Instead of just looking through everything in the book, because I kind of know where it is. Finding where it explains where the page is. The book of Deuteronomy. Here we go. Alright, so I guess I could read like the footnote aloud, but I know that I need to do Deuteronomy chapter 4. That's chapter 6. Chapter 4. So this is going to be on chapter 4 is on page 190 OT in my Bible. That's Old Testament. Okay. So they want me to do chapter 4, 1, verses 1 through 2. So this part is the advantages of fidelity. Okay. I love it. Okay. And then verse 6 through 8. And then, where's verse 6 through 8? Here, verse 6, 7, 8. So what I do is probably like really bad, and I shouldn't do this. I should have a pencil, but I do minuscule marks. Where can we see what I did? Where I did one. Okay, right here. I do like minuscule marks, that green dot. So to know like where I'm looking when I come back to look at something. So now I'm going to go and read basically the orientation to the chapter. If you ask me, that's what it is. Okay. So the book of Deuteronomy. The title of Deuteronomy is in Hebrew, sorry, mind is the one is giving me something, but the title of Deuteronomy in Hebrew is Devarim, words, from its opening phrase. The English title comes from the Septuagint of, it looks like chapter 17, verse 18, Deuteronomion, or Deuteronomion, copy of the law. Oh. This title is appropriate because the book replicates much of the legal content of the previous books, serving as a second law. I kind of want to write that down. So that's not these verses right here. So maybe what I can do, I don't have a pencil, but maybe what I can do is just kind of underline that I like that. It is my Bible, but I hate to like write in it. So the book replicates much of the legal content of the previous book, serving as a second law. It brings to a close the 5 books of the Torah, or Pentateuch, with a retrospective account of Israel's past, the Exodus, the Sinai Covenant, and the wilderness wanderings, and a look into Israel's future as they stand poised to enter the land of Canaan and begin their life as a people there. Okay. The book consists of 3 long addresses by Moses. Each of these contains narrative, law, and exhortation in varying proportions. So Moses. Okay. It's 3 long addresses by Moses. Okay. And basically, it was narrative, law, okay. In an expansion of the first commandment of the Decalogue, I believe that's Exodus chapter 20, verses 5 through 6, and Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verses 9 through 10. Moses tells the Israelites how to make a success of their life as a people once they are settled in the land. The choice presented to Israel is to love the Lord and keep his commandments, or to serve other gods. That sounds very familiar. Okay. The choice will determine what kind of life they will make for themselves in the land. Whichever choice they make as a people carries consequences, which Deuteronomy terms blessing and curse. Thus, the book can be seen as a kind of survival manual for Israel in their life as a people, how to live and what to avoid. Okay, I'm going to underline that part as well. The book can be seen as a kind of survival manual for Israel in their life as a people, how to live and what to avoid. Okay? This gives the book its hortatory style and tone of life or death urgency. I see. One defining concern of the book is centralization of worship. Okay? As Israel's God is one, chapter 6, verses 4 through 5, so its worship must be focused in one place, which the Lord, in quotes, will choose from among your tribes, end quotes. There the Lord will, in quotes, make his name dwell, end quotes. See note on chapter 12, verse 5. Thus, the privileged status of the Jerusalem temple is asserted. Okay, for Jewish people. All other places and all other modes of worship of the God of Israel, so the local shrines, the high places under every green tree, are proscribed. Okay. So this is a different religion, but it shows how Judaism gets established by Moses. Well, not by Moses, but is what it looks like. Moses is preaching that. So anyway, one defining boom. Well, let me just underline that because that seems a little political, but I'm going to start because who knows when I may need to reference it for anything. All right. The book was probably composed over the course of 3 centuries, from the 8th century to the exile and beyond. It bears some relation to the Book of the Law, discovered in the Jerusalem Temple around 622 BC during the reign of King Josiah. 2 Kings, chapter 22, verses 8 through 13. It gives evidence of later editing, cf. The references to exile in chapter 4, verses 1 through 40, chapter 28, verses 63 through 68, chapter 29, verses 22 through 28, chapter 30, verses 1 through 10. Okay? These are all interesting things that I want to look at from a historical perspective, more so than a religious one. But, all right. Over the book looms the disaster of 722-721, the fall of the northern kingdom. Interesting. Israel. That's very interesting. The detailed description of siege, chapter 28, verse 49 through 57, especially echoes the fate of the north suffered at the hands of the Assyrian invader. Okay. Let me just, interesting. Detailed description of the siege, fall of the northern kingdom, suffered at the hands of the Assyrian invader. Okay. The book draws the minds of its intended readers back to a time before disastrous mistakes were made and their disastrous effects felt, and serves to explain the political and theological dynamics that led to the destruction of the north, as well as to warn the surviving southern kingdom, Judah, to reform by keeping faith with Israel's covenant Lord. Interesting. The characteristic and highly recognizable language and theology of Deuteronomy are seen in editorial comments structuring the works that follow it in the Hebrew canon, the books of Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings. Sorry, I was thinking of other things. I'm going to reread that. It is very distracting to have an office knelling by Midway Motel, but let me go back. Construction. Okay. Together with Deuteronomy, these present a history of Israel from Moses to the time of the Babylonian exile. Conventionally, this great multi-volume work is termed the Deuteronomistic history. Okay. The book of Deuteronomy itself was also incorporated into the Torah as its 5th volume. That's interesting. Okay. I'm underlining that because it's interesting. Don't know when I want to have that fun fact as knowledge. The book presents 3 discourses by Moses as follows. So in the first part, it's the first address, which is chapter 1. So I think what I'm looking at today is going to be the first address. Okay. And then there's the second address. There's the Lord's covenant with Israel, the Deuteronomic code, And then the third part is the third address, and then the fourth part is the death of Moses. All right. So I think that I kind of have an understanding of what I'm looking at right now. So that means that I'm looking at the first address of Moses. And I'm going to write that down. Do I want to do it in blue? Let me do an arrow. Moses' first address to the, what they call the Israelites, so to the people of Israel at the beginning. Okay. And then I'm just going to copy the verses. So what color do I want? Do I want a darker blue, or is this the blue that I just put back? Child, do I want a lighter green? Here's a darker green. Maybe I want a darker green for this. Okay. So now I'm going to go to chapter 4. I'm just waiting for my son. It's coming out. Wait. Chapter 4. Okay. So, chapter 4. So this is going to be titled Advantages of Fidelity. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Okay. I'm going to kind of do a little cloud around it because my notes need to keep my attention. So, I don't know. Okay. So verse 1 is, Now therefore, Israel, hear the statutes and ordinances I am teaching you to observe, that you may live and may enter in and take possession of the land which the Lord, the God of your ancestors, is giving you. And then the second verse is, In your observance of the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am commanding you, you shall not add to what I command you, nor subtract from it. Okay. And then verses 6 through 8. Verses 6 says, Observe them carefully, for this is your wisdom and discernment in the sight of the peoples who will hear of all these statutes and say, This great nation is truly a wise and discerning people. So statutes are laws. Okay. And then verse 7, For what great nation is there that has God so close to it as the Lord, our God, is to us whenever we call upon him. Okay. So, and then 8 is, Or what great nation has statutes and ordinances that are as just as this whole law which I am setting before you today? Okay. So this was actually in the bulletin. I am starting on Sunday and I'm behind. So where did they have that? I'm just curious to know or they have it, because I saw it. Or maybe it was in the homily. No, it was in the readings. Child. Okay. But this is the Deuteronomy. Okay, that's the one I'm doing. Alright. So they have it right here in the bulletin. I'm basically restudying what was already studied. I see. So this is how they write it together. So I wonder if I should just be writing stuff in a block like that. Instead of like pulling the verses out. I'm gonna actually, I don't know. I like pulling the verses out. So I'm gonna finish writing. There's nothing else. It's gonna be boring. But I'm waiting for my son to come out. I can't read when I have my glasses on, but I can't see far without my glasses. Welcome to middle age, but thank you for listening. Bye.